Hello, everybody, and welcome to our June 2017 Webinar Wednesday, Your Smartphone Can Save Your Life, brought to you by the North Carolina Association of Realtors. Tracy is our presenter today. So Tracy Hawkins started her safety and security business in 1995. She's a former real estate agent with over 22 years of experience teaching real estate agent safety training. Tracy has taught over 3,200 agents to work safely over the past 2 years. She implemented, created, and instructs the nation's only designation for real estate agent safety and continuing education credits, the Consumer Safety and Security Specialist, or CSSS designation, which over 500 agents have completed, earning 6 to 7 CE credits. Tracy has been featured as a real estate safety expert on the Today Show, The Washington Post, CNN, Trulia, and Inman News, just to name a few. And with that, I'll pass along the program to Tracy.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you so much, Tyler. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And one thing I wanted people to realize is that I have been a real estate agent, so I know where you come from. I know what you do. And therefore, I target my program based on realistic expectations and realistic situations. And I also happen to be a fast talker. So what I'd like is, if I am going too fast, if you would not mind just typing it in the notes, and Tyler will just gently and politely ask me to slow down a little bit. And as we go along, if you have any questions at any point, just jump right in, type your question in. And again, Tyler will let me know so that I can answer them. And we will, of course, answer them at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're talking about technology. And one thing that I like to do is I like to help you help your consumer. So you're going to notice today that there is a consumer focus. So we're going to talk about not only you staying safe, but also ways to keep your consumer safe. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. First and foremost, a little bit more about who I am. Tyler did a good job telling you, but I just want you to know that safety is my full-time occupation. This is what I do for a living, day in and day out. I live and breathe real estate safety. So if there is a question that I don't know the answer to, I definitely know where to find it. So please keep that in mind. Tyler also mentioned that I created a designation called the Consumer Safety and Security Specialist. And just to quickly tell you why I created that, will give you some insight into the program you're going to hear today. I have been doing this for a long time, and what I have found, and it's just not in real estate safety, but overall, that people don't think about safety until something happens. So my goal in life is to find a way to be proactive. I had an education director tell me that agents are not going to show up for any kind of class unless you're teaching them how to make more money. Sounds kind of callous, but it's true. This is a commission-based business. Again, I've been there, I've done that. So what I did is I created a couple of real estate safety classes that were about 3 hours each, sometimes 3.5 hours, that allowed agents to earn a designation at the end of completing those 6 hours of continuing education. My focus was, again, teaching you to be safe and also making sure that you can protect your consumer, and that's something no other real estate agent is doing. So that gives you an edge, and we'll talk about that as we go along. My first question that I always ask everyone when I speak is, what does a criminal look like? Who are you afraid of? Every single real estate agent participating in this program has a preconceived notion of who you don't want to see, who you don't want to see walking in your open house, who you don't want to see getting out of the car to come to an appointment. So my goal is to find out what that criminal looks like to you, who you are afraid of. And what I typically find, I get a lot of hands up, and people say, well, someone in baggy clothes, or someone with a lot of piercings, someone who looks disheveled. I get the typical what a criminal looks like, what the generalization is. But I am here to tell you that judging a book by its cover may get you in trouble. The preconceived notion that you have of a criminal is what's going to get you in trouble. Keep in mind that if you want to know what a criminal looks like, look in the mirror, look around the room. Criminals look just like you and me. So for you to use that as a criteria to determine who is going to cause you harm could get you in trouble. It can also cost you business. Think about the late, great Sam Walton, who would drive around in his overalls and his old pickup truck. Now, what happens if he would have pulled up to one of your listings, one of your upper end listings, and he pulled up out front and you're looking out of the window and you're making a judgment based on appearance? What might happen? You very well could lose a good customer, one who could probably pay cash for the whole entire block, if you judge by appearance. So I'm here to tell you not to do that. So you're thinking, well, Tracy, if we don't judge by appearance, how do we keep ourselves safe? I don't know how many of you all watched Oprah when she came on a regular basis. That is where I learned of an author by the name of Gavin DeBecker. Gavin DeBecker wrote a book called The Gift of Fear. Now, this book should be required reading for everyone. This book talks about the built-in survival mechanism that every single animal in nature has. Every animal in nature, including human beings, have a built-in survival signal that can keep us from ever being victimized. And the answer is, what is that? And it's your gut. It's intuition. It's that sixth sense. It's that voice inside. When you're in a situation that's dangerous, your body knows it. You get that funny feeling in the pit of your stomach. Your heart starts beating fast. The hairs are standing up on your arms or on the back of your neck. So it is telling you that you are in danger. Out of all of the animals in nature who possess this gift, human beings are the only ones who ignore it. And we ignore it for a number of reasons. One of them is to be polite. We don't want to hurt someone's feelings. So therefore, we just dismiss that warning signal because this person looks fine, this person looks nice, and I don't want to offend them. I remember I worked with a lot of real estate agents, as you can imagine, and I worked with a couple of veteran agents. They had both been in the business 20 plus years, and one agent was excited. She was about to show at Dr. Houses that afternoon in this ritzy part of town, so she's just knowing she's going to sell a mansion. So she told the agent at board duty, they're in the office, she said, let me know when the doctor gets here. Let me know when my client gets here. So the agent on board duty was pretty much waiting for, the client to get in, and she sees a guy approach the office building. He has on a white lab coat, and he comes in and he asks for the agent. And then she goes back, she says, your client is here, but I have a really funny feeling. I've got a bad feeling. How well do you know him? And the agent says, I don't really know him. He called and everything's fine. She said, I've got a bad feeling. Is there a way you can check him out a little bit more and reschedule when you're more comfortable? She says, I'm fine. You're crazy. I'm going to go show him these houses. So she went to go show houses that afternoon. Later in the day, she gets a phone call from the doctor. And she said, wait a minute, this sounds odd. You're talking to me as if we've never met, and I've spent the afternoon with you, and what is going on? He said, I didn't spend the afternoon with you. She said, yes, you had your name tag on your lab coat. He said, 2 weeks ago, someone broke into my office and stole my lab coat. It wasn't me. And at that point, the real estate agent, she was shook up. She went to the other agent. She said, what did you see that I missed? And the other agent said, at the time, I don't know what it was. My gut told me something was wrong, but my brain I couldn't tell you what it was. She said, but a couple of things stood out after the fact. She said, first of all, he had on his lab jacket, his lab coat. And I'm asking you all, how many times have you been in the grocery store and seen a doctor walking around with his lab coat on? Doesn't happen, does it? What about at the gas station, at the gas pump, pumping gas with the lab jacket on? Doesn't happen. And then the other thing that she said she noticed is when he asked for her, he put his hands on the countertop. She said his fingernails were absolutely filthy. Another question for you all. How many times have you seen a doctor with filthy fingernails? Doesn't typically happen, but your body is telling you danger, danger, get out of the situation. And I'm telling you, don't try to analyze it. Don't try to figure it out. Listen to your body, get out of the situation, and then you can deal with the facts later. And if you need to apologize, if you make a mistake, then you apologize later. But the most important thing, and if you don't hear anything else that I am saying today, you need to hear that. Listen to your body, trust your instinct, get out of the situation. Crime prevention officers and rape crisis counselors say 99% of the time they interview victims, and victims say, I knew it, I had a bad feeling, something told me not to do it. So I spent a lot of time on that, but I'm telling you that is the most important thing that you can hear. One thing that you need to do is you need to understand the risk in this business. Your job description reads like this. You make a living meeting complete strangers in empty houses, and then you sit in empty houses waiting for strangers to walk in. If your son, your daughter, or a friend of yours came to you and say, here's the job description of a job that I'm applying for, what would you think? You would think that it deserves some kind of pause, right? Today is the pause. I am telling you, I'm not trying to scare you. Being a real estate agent is a fabulous job, a wonderful occupation, but I'm going to tell you how to remove some of the dangers from the job so that you can come home safely every night. Okay, real estate agent safety is considered, the Department of Labor considers it one of the most dangerous jobs. It's a high-risk occupation up there with convenience clerk, security guard. But again, today we're going to talk about ways to remove some of the dangers. One of the questions is, have there been any recent crimes against agents? And the most recent crime that most real estate agents know about is the Beverly Carter situation that happened a couple of years ago during Safety Month. And that's the real estate agent in Arkansas. So a lot of people think since then, you know, not much has happened. We're okay. But let me tell you, there are 4 names on this list, and most of you probably don't recognize the names. These are real estate agents who have been victimized. David Abbasi was murdered Safety Month last year. Ryan Vega, real estate agent in Las Vegas, stabbed in the neck. He survived. Sidney Cranston's body was found January of this year after being missing for a year and a half. Lane Gamble is a real estate agent who was robbed at gunpoint in North Carolina. So the question that I ask you is, what do you notice about this list? It's mostly men. It's all men. And a lot of times, I've been doing this for a long time, when I first start talking about safety, the guys kind of roll their eyes and think, oh, this is for the ladies. I am here to tell you that it is for everyone, all real estate agents. I have the privilege of being able to teach, to also write for Realtor Magazine on a regular basis. Earlier this year, I just happened to write an article about 4 ways that male agents put themselves in danger. I'd like you to read that article because it talks about those specific cases that we discussed. And it tells you some of the situations and some of the mindsets of male agents. If you go to realtor.org and you simply type in my name, and it's spelled there, Tracy Hawkins, you're going to see the list of articles. And I strongly suggest that you read all of the articles about different safety topics. Now, when I see you in September, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the articles you see there and go into greater detail. Today, we're focusing on technology and social media safety. Another crime occurred in April in California. A real estate agent hosting an open house was victimized. Again, in South Bend in Indiana, that was also in April of this year. I tell you that to let you know that crimes are constantly occurring. Our job, my job, is to help keep you safe. So thank you all for being here today, and let's get to the technology part. Always have to take care of housekeeping, because what I've learned, that if you don't know what's going on in your industry, you could become oblivious to it. And I'm determined that no one who I get an opportunity to talk to will ever be oblivious. You're going to know exactly what's going on. Breaking news. The most recent news that NAR is warning real estate agents about is a way to protect yourself from a phishing scam. So all of you, and if not you, someone in your office has gotten an email letting you know that you need to take certain action. And what we're finding is that people are phishing. They're sending emails to real estate agents with different times as false wiring instructions, so that your clients are scammed. You'll believe the email, have your client's email to a certain email address, and then they wire the money, and then they lose money. NAR is saying you need to be careful of emails that appear to come from NAR. So it's going to say no reply at NAR Realtor. Looks perfectly legitimate, I know. But what they're telling you is that it is not. In order to view the release that's contained within the email, you're supposed to click on a link. If you get the email, don't even get as far as to click on a link. Delete immediately, because if you click on the email, it's going to download a link onto your computer. It could also be a virus. It could be malware. So better to prevent it right up front. Don't download any fake offers or wire instructions. And if you do accidentally do so, what you need to do is set your autoresponder or your vacation response, whichever, on your email and your voicemail, letting everyone know that my email account has been compromised. You know, do not follow any instructions if you get an email from me. That way, anyone who emails you knows immediately that there is a problem. You need to change your password. And then you ought to go to your settings and look in your settings. If someone does get access to your computer, they're going to be able to control any settings on it. Go to your settings and see if your emails are being forwarded. If you notice that they're being forwarded, you're going to notice someone else's email account very close to yours but different. So you need to remove the forwarding settings, because otherwise you will not know that emails coming in will not come to you. They will be forwarded to an email address similar to yours, and then that criminal is responding back to those emails as you, and that is definitely going to cause trouble for you as well as your clients. You need to report it. Don't just move forward, change your email ad or change your password. You need to report it. Hit the spam button. That way your email provider knows that there is a problem and they can notify others on the same network. And if your email has been hacked, you need to tell everybody. Send out an email after you've changed your password and taken the precautionary steps. You need to let everyone know that there is a problem. Your email has been hacked. Do not respond, and do it on Facebook. Make a notice on Facebook, as well as send your emails out and put it on your outgoing message on your voicemail. Let everyone know. Now what I want to do is, and if anyone has any questions, again, type your question in and Tyler will jump in as we go along. What I want to do now is talk about social media. Pretty much everyone is on social media in some form, and if you're not, you're probably tempted to be on it. What I wanted to do is focus on the ones that NAR survey says that real estate agents are using. Now, there are tons of reasons why you all are on social media, including engaging new and potential clients, and to do your research, because that's how you find out about your clients. And you also need to know that your clients are on social media. So if you want to connect with them, you're going to have to go there. You use your social media account, and the one that NAR says that most agents use is Facebook. You're using your Facebook page to promote your listings. You're promoting open houses, and basically you're using it to build your brand. You're networking with other agents just to see what's going on in your industry. Perfectly fine to be able to use social media. My job is to make sure you use it correctly and safely. Again, Facebook is where most of you all are. And what I want to tell you is, if you have a personal page and you're using your personal page to conduct business, you need to stop right now. That is against Facebook policy. Facebook says personal pages are for personal business. You should not be talking about listings, open houses, no business talk on a Facebook personal page. I had an agent who had a personal page only. She used that page for family business, family events, and to talk to her family members. And she also used it for business, and she considers those her friends. So she was talking about open houses, she was talking about family events, all on one Facebook page. She posted a picture of her grandson on her page, and then her son saw it. He said, "Mom, get my kid's picture off of your page." She said, "What's the problem? What's the big deal?" If you take a picture with your smartphone and you have GPS enabled, once you take and upload that picture online anywhere, any social media account, embedded in that picture is what's called a geo tag. That means anyone with access to a computer who's looking at that picture can tell exactly where the picture was taken. The location is embedded in the picture. So here she is taking pictures of her grandson, posting it on a page with strangers as well as family and friends. Can you see the danger there? The solution is, if you take pictures, disable the GPS. Take your picture, upload it, and then post it. But back to the key issue at hand. If you have a personal page, there should be no talk of your real estate business there. You can allude to it. Everyone, I'm a real estate agent. Make sure you check out my real estate page. That's where I talk about my listings. That's where I talk about properties. That's where I talk about real estate business. You can certainly do that. But your personal page has to be personal. I don't know how often Facebook monitors it or how often it happens. I've heard some stories. But if they see that you are violating their policy and you're talking about business on your personal page, your account will be gone one day. You will go to log in and you're not going to be able to do so because you violated their rules. What you need is a business page. Now on your Facebook business page and any other social media page, that's where you get the opportunity to talk about your real estate business. This is the page you invite your clients and future clients and everyone to check out. Like your page, that way they stay in the loop. If you're the agent that writes articles about real estate and you stay involved in the community, this is your opportunity to share that information. What I have to tell you is that if you use this to promote listings, it's the same as advertising your listings elsewhere. There is certain information that and I do believe it's state to state, that must be contained in any mention of any real estate. You need to have your brokerage information, your MLS number or your license number. Know in advance what information needs to be contained in your real estate listings before you advertise a property on social media or anywhere. Also, open houses can be a little problemsome if you are using those to advertise on your Facebook page. Can anyone think of the problem if you post a listing, hey everyone, come and see me this afternoon from 4 to 6 at open house at 12345 Main Street. So if you post that on even your business page, can anyone see a problem, a potential danger with posting the fact that you're going to be hosting an open house? The answer is too much information. Of course, you need to be able to advertise your open house on your social media, on your Facebook page, but there's a right way to do it. So if you're going to be hosting an open house on Main Street in the time, do you need to say you're going to be there? You don't. What I have found, and I get to travel all over the country, talk to agents from everywhere about being safe. What I find that no matter which part of the country I am in, stalking is a big deal for real estate agent safety. So if you're saying, come and see me here, you're doing two things, right? First, you're saying, this is where I'm going to be. And most people know that real estate agents, unfortunately, tend to host open houses alone. Not only are you saying this is where I am going to be, you're telling them what? Where you're not going to be, right? You're not home. So if there are criminals who are looking at your page and they're stalking you or watching your movements, you're giving them a map to where you are and where you're not. And you're thinking, so what if they know where I'm not? They don't know where I live. I'm going to show you something a little bit later on that's going to change your mind. So you need to be very cautious when you're posting information about open houses. You can say, open house, so-and-so real estate team is hosting an open house this afternoon from 3 to 6. Stop by and say hi. You're certainly welcome to say that. You're not specifically saying who's going to be there. So you can let them know. When we talk about open house safety, there's never ever an excuse to do an open house alone. Whenever I tell people that it's not a good idea to do them alone, having been an agent, I know that's not realistic. There's a possibility that you may have to do one alone. But you don't want to advertise it and you still want to take certain precautions. And in September, I get the opportunity during our 2 sessions to talk a little bit more about that. But what I want to do right now is to tell you that you have a built-in partner for any of your open houses, and it's the lender. The lender will happily accompany you to your open houses so you never have to do an open house alone. So you can certainly allude to that in your posting, that you and the so-and-so mortgage company would love to see you at the open house. Give the impression that you're not going to be alone. Facebook tagging and privacy settings. One thing that I want to be crystal clear about is the word privacy is here, but when it comes to social media and online, there is no such thing as privacy. Please hear me say that. No matter what your privacy settings are, there's no such thing as privacy. So if you're the real estate agent that likes to go out on the weekends, you know, you have your personal page and your business page. On your personal page, you're the party agent. You go out on the weekends and you're the ones that everyone sees, you know, dancing on the bar with the lampshade on your head. And you're thinking, what a cute picture. Someone tags you. It's on your personal page and you're thinking, no big deal. Only my family and friends can see it. Not a problem. There's no such thing as privacy. What if one of your friends shared that post? Then all of a sudden it's everywhere. What if someone does a screen capture or print the screen or a screenshot of that picture and they post it? It's everywhere. So keep in mind that if you don't mind the world seeing it, go ahead and post it, but do not believe that there is such a thing as privacy on any social media, no matter what the settings are. Tagging was a dangerous game. People would take pictures and then they would tag you and it would appear on your page and you had no control over it. Now you can go to your settings and you get to say whether or not you will allow people to tag you, and if you want to be able to control that to approve or not approve any tag. So that's definitely worth looking into if you have friends who are inclined to tag you. Now, LinkedIn is another social media account that a lot of real estate agents use. There are no safety implications, so to speak, with LinkedIn. It's a business platform. You're only putting business information out there, and it's information that you want people to see. The only thing I want to warn you about when using LinkedIn is that people know you're looking at them. So it's a great opportunity to look and see what your other agents in your industry are doing, and you want to see what's going on, and you want to do a little research and see who's who and what people are doing. You just need to know that unless you check an anonymous profile, people know you're looking at them. So you're looking at the competitor across town and you're basically looking everyone's accounts up and seeing who they are. They're going to get a notification just like the one you see on the screen. These are people who've looked at your profile, and there you are. So just keep in mind, if you're going to do any covert research on your competitors, you need to make sure you know that they know it. And then again, settings, no such thing as privacy, but you don't want privacy here. But definitely you can control what people see from your LinkedIn account. So when we talk about social media, what you need to know is that once you push, publish, or send, it is out there forever and it's not going away. You think, well, I'll go back and delete it. Let me ask you all, think about how many news stories you see about someone who tweeted something or posted something, and then all of a sudden it's gone away, but still you're looking at the screen, you see what they wrote. People can capture that information. So once it's gone, it lives forever. So before you push that button, always think, is it okay? Do I want my family to see this? Do I want my friends to see this? And if you tend to get angry and you tend to post it those times, stop and take a breath first. You need to keep your social life and your family life off of your social media accounts. It's so tempting to talk about that new grandchild, and of course you can do so, but keep in mind that you need to make sure the geotag is disabled and that you don't know who all is reading your Facebook post, who all is going to see it. So many times you're tempted to talk about vacations. I have a friend who, whenever she travels, she'll say, hey, just landed in Spain, or I'm out walking the beaches of paradise in, you know, Cozumel. What that does is it tells people again where she's not. So you have someone who may be looking at your Facebook page, looking at your status, your post, whether it's on Twitter, no matter where it is, they know where you're not. And you're saying, again, what's the big deal? I'm going to show you the big deal. But you need to make sure you wait until you're back home before you talk about your vacation. Post all of the pictures you want once you're back home, and it's no longer a threat that your empty house is going to be prime target for criminals. Okay, so you need to protect your work schedule, and you're saying, how do I put my work schedule out there? If you're the person who tweets, you know, another long day of showing, I've got a client, out of town client, I'll be busy all day. Or you're on Facebook saying, you know, we're going to be hosting this open house all afternoon and showing all week. You're again telling people your work schedule, when you're working, when it's okay to burglarize your home, or where to find you when you're most vulnerable. We've talked about being vague during your open house listings.
Hey, Tracy.
Yes.
Backing up to LinkedIn, is there a concept of a business page within LinkedIn like there is on Facebook?
Well, LinkedIn is a business page. LinkedIn is nothing but business. So everyone who's posting on LinkedIn is targeting other businesses, and this is their business resume, their online resume, so to speak. So anything you push there, anything you publish there is meant for eyes to see. There's nothing you'll ever put on LinkedIn that you don't want people to know.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, so let's talk about sellers. Now, this is where you get to shine, where other agents aren't talking to the sellers. They're not talking to the consumers about being safe. So sellers, you're going to talk to them. When you go to that listing appointment, you're not immediately talking about, let's get your house sold. This is what we're going to do. And when I see you in September during those sessions, I'm going to give you tools that you can use with your sellers to show them how to keep their property safe when it's on the market with you. But meanwhile, the overall theme is you're going to have a conversation with sellers, and you're going to tell them to be careful how they use social media when their house is on the market with you. You're going to tell them that their family members need to be involved in the conversation. You're going to talk to them about personal pictures, not only throughout the house, but on social media. If they take pictures of expensive possessions, and you all know there are those people who do this, you know, look at this expensive gun or this doll collection or whatever it is, look what I've got, and they put it on Facebook and all their friends are looking and seeing it. You need to tell them that while their house is on the market, that they need to be extremely careful, because people know it takes one phone call or a visit to an open house to get inside of the house. So if people are sitting at their computer looking at these your seller's Facebook page, and they're talking about all of the valuable, the collections, their new media center, look at all the electronics and everything, that they're making themselves more of a target. Have that conversation with them. Same thing with the vacation plans. They need to be sure that they're not talking about vacation while they're out of town. Again, they're not thinking about this while their house is on the market. You are the agent that is bringing this information to them. That gives you more value. Social media is for bragging. Everybody wants to brag about what they've done, how good they look, or what they have, what they bought, what they own. Ask your sellers to take a break while their house is on the market so that they're not more of a target. It makes them vulnerable. I'm asking you all to realize, I'm telling you to realize, no other real estate agent is taking the time to have these conversations with them. When I see you, I'm going to show you tools that you can use, a checklist that you can use to hand to your sellers when you're talking to them during the listing appointment. Another thing that you need to know, and I will guarantee that almost every single one of you has a smartphone, and that is perfect. It is ideal. It is the way of the world. But what you need to know is that it brings a whole different level of safety issues. If you have a smartphone, more than likely, that's how you conduct business when you're out of the office and on the go. I use my phone almost exclusively. I'm rarely in front of my laptop. So I use my smartphone for business, and as busy as you all are, I bet you do as well. So what I am asking is, if you are using your smartphone for email, are you using it to email your clients back and forth, lenders back and forth? The answer is yes. So that means that the key concerns for you is what's on that phone. With my smartphone, let's say I go to a coffee shop and I accidentally leave my phone there. And if someone picks up my phone, they have access to my entire world. That goes for you all too. So if you are emailing your clients back and forth about what documents are needed, and financial documents, and what they need to do to close, even just any kind of information, personal client information, you are vulnerable. So let's say you left your phone at Starbucks and you go away and someone picks up your phone. They pick up your phone. They can probably click a button or two and access your email. They can probably get into your bank account information, maybe your PayPal. We are a lazy society, and I'm right at the top of the list. I don't require a login to access my email from my phone. I want to push a button and I want to start reading my email immediately. So if you leave your phone behind and someone picks up your phone and they're reading your email, do you want to be the person who has to call your client that evening and say, look, I'm sorry, my phone got stolen or lost, and unfortunately information, our correspondence has been included. I am so sorry. You absolutely do not want that to occur. So I'm going to tell you how to how to avoid never having to have that conversation. What you also need to know is that your phone is vulnerable to attack. You've seen the news stories, people in New York or tourist places standing on corners, you're looking at your smartphone, whether you're looking up directions to go somewhere or just searching Yelp or whatever, looking for your next destination. There you stand with this $500, $600, $700 device in your hand, distracted. How hard is it for a criminal to grab that phone out of your hand and take off? What about people, you're taking pictures with your selfies with your family and friends, and you ask a complete stranger, will you please take a picture of us? Or a stranger asks for your phone, I'll take a picture. You hand over the $600 or $700 device to a stranger, and you have to hope they don't run away with it. So your phone is vulnerable as well as the information on your phone. I'm going to teach you how to make your phone a little bit safer. First and foremost, hackers want your smartphone. They want the information on your phone. They want the phone, and they want it for a number of reasons. They're going to install malicious apps on your phone. They can install ransomware, and I know you all have heard of ransomware, and that's where they install install a virus on your phone. You can't have access to any information on your computer without giving them money. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You give them access to your phone, so you can prevent this from happening by taking certain precautionary steps, and they spread the infection. So once they get into your phone, your contacts are vulnerable as well. So how are you going to know if you've ever been hacked? If the websites look different on your page than what they typically do, you know that a major company probably hasn't done a major website design. If the apps look a little, if you see apps that you don't recognize and you know you didn't download them, or if you're looking at a website and then suddenly it changes, that tells you that there is a problem. So what can you do to prevent it? Let's not even get to that point. A lot of times you're tempted to buy an item that says this has been jailbroken, which means basically that they've bypassed a lot of the security steps in order to get apps that you normally couldn't get on your phone, different services that you couldn't get. Avoid that. You need to stay updated. A lot of times you get the update notices and you say, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. I'm guilty of that too. You're thinking, how long would the security update take? Take a few minutes to update it, because that's how you stay safe. Your supplier is going to make sure you keep the information up to date, but if you don't update it, your phone or your computer, you're not going to stay in the loop, and you need to use a strong password. That's one I cannot stress enough. And you need to make sure that you have the security updates that your manufacturer recommends, no matter how long it takes. Let's talk quickly about hack-proofing your phone. And this is one thing that you can do, one simple, easy thing that you can do today that would prevent anyone from ever taking your phone and being able to access the information, client information, personal information, financial information. Simple and easy. Create a password. Your phone should be password or PIN protected. Go to the settings of your phone and look for the security tab. That's where you get to enter a password or a PIN. Right now, if someone picks up my phone, it's an expensive paperweight. They're not accessing the information because they don't know my password. If you use the regular typical passwords, criminals know that too. They know we're lazy and that we want the easy to remember passwords. So do they. So make it a complicated password, that cannot be guessed. That's the number one thing you can do as far as password protecting your phone. Now your phone can be a weapon. That smartphone you have there can save you and keep you safe. A million years ago, I was interviewed for this article for Realtor Magazine, actually back in 2011. And the theme of the article is how to use your smartphone as a weapon. Make that phone work for you to help keep you safe. One of the ways to do that is safety apps. There are so many apps on the market, and according to the National Association of Realtors, 13% of the members, and that's 1.2 million members, use their smartphone safety app, and that's designed primarily to track your whereabouts and to alert colleagues if there's an emergency situation. The question is, how do you pick an app? There's so many out there, and as you can imagine, I get a lot of app companies. Tracy, here's a great app for agents. Here's a great app for agents. I cannot accept everything that I see. I take my role very seriously. So if there's going to be an app out there, I want to know about it. If you all use any safety apps, I'd love to hear. If you type in the name of the app that you use, Tyler will share with me. I'd love to hear which apps you all use. And I also do that as I travel around the country. I'm asking agents, which one do you use? Let me check it out. Let me know what it does so that I can recommend good quality apps to agents who ask me about it. One thing you need to know is if you're going to get an app, if you're reading an article and it says click here to get this app, stop. Stop. You need to get an app from a trusted source. That means going to the Apple Store or the App Store, Google Play Store, wherever you get applications. There is at least some level of screening involved there as opposed to just downloading willy-nilly any app that you find somewhere. You need to know where you're getting the app from, the source of the app. Otherwise, it could be an absolute nightmare. Anyone can plant a link for an app that could just do all kinds of damage, because apps can apply spyware and malware on your computer or your phone. So know the source. And you need to make sure that you actually read the security policy. What kind of information, what does this app want from you in order to, especially if it's free? Nothing is free. So if you're getting a free app and my phone is full of them, your phones are full of them as well, you need to know what the cost is. And if you have with your provider already scheduled automatic security updates, you know as new threats become available that they're on top of it, but you have to take that step. So I wanted to download a camera app, Z-Camera. And then if you stop and look at the permissions, most of us zip past this. Let's look at what Z-Camera is asking me in return to use a photo editing app on my phone. They want to know about my in-app purchases. What else am I buying? They want to know my device and app history. They want to know who other apps I have. They want to go to my device and look at the history. They want to know identity, location, where are you. They want access to my photo and media files, which might be okay. They also want access to my camera. But look, they want access to my microphone. They want to know my device information and call information. That's a lot of information. And this is the tip of the iceberg. This is probably one of the ones that don't want too much information. So you need to know what you're giving up when you give them permission for these apps. Know what you're giving up. Then the question becomes smartphone safety. Do you want an app or a device? An app is on your phone. So some of the app pros, it's already on your phone and you have your phone with you. The con, what if you don't have your phone with you? Will you have information to the safety app? Devices are standalone deals. You've seen the jewelry, the pendants, or just a little device that you can carry with you. The pros is that it's not tied to your phone. If you lose your phone, you can still be safe. The con is what if you lose it or you don't have it with you when you need it? Here's an app that I have found a lot of agents like, and it's Life 360. What this does is it keeps track of where you are, your location. And it allows people, you have connections that you specify. They can see where you are at all times. It also allows you to check in. So if you say, I'm going to an open house, you can check in. Your people on your list know you're okay. Everything is fine. She's fine. If you become missing, they can track your steps. And what it will do is if you're in a dangerous situation, you push the button to call for help, and then your contact list will know that you're in danger. Here's the location. They are responsible at that point for contacting law enforcement officials. Now, there's a device that I've learned of called Alert Lion. And when I was speaking in Albuquerque, I turned the device on, and what it does is it tracks my movement. It gives a history of where I have been. Kind of weird, but if you're a real estate agent and you're working, you have a trusted list of people you want them to know. It also lets, just step by step, it's amazing. But if you're in trouble, law enforcement official is going to, you can push a button, law enforcement official comes on. If you don't talk, they're coming to your location. They will show up. I like that. And it's a device that you can attach, keep it in your purse. You can have it on your person somewhere. So that's a good one along with the Life 360 that I have heard a lot of agents actually use. You need to use technology to safely screen your clients, and you need to be able to use online resources to research, to know who's calling you, who wants to see your property. You also get to help buyers. You are in a position to help not only sellers, you can help FSBOs, and you can help buyers. And again, I'm going to be able to go more in detail when I see you in September and give you handouts and resources that you can utilize when working with these clients. But just big picture, RealtyTrack is a great resource. If a buyer says, hey, agent, is this a good neighborhood? Is it a safe neighborhood? You know that you are unable to legally answer that question. But instead of saying, good luck, you're on your own, you need to be able to give them resources like RealtyTrack, which tracks any sexual offenders within a certain radius of an address that they're interested in. It talks about any drug labs, former drug labs, which are hazards, talks about environmental hazards. So you're going to be able to give your buyers information on resources such as spot crime as well, where they can do the research on their end to determine the safety of a neighborhood. And once they've decided whether or not it meets their criteria, then they give you the address. But you cannot give them that information, but this makes you invaluable to them. You are a resource to them. Let's talk a little bit about researching, and we're getting close to the end of the time here, but let's talk a little bit about research and what you can find out how to keep yourself safe online. First and foremost, you have a footprint out in the cyber world. Whether you're on a computer or not, there's information about you. The best thing to do is to know what's out there about you, and in order to do that, you need to Google yourself, see what's out there. If you're lazy, and a lot of us are, set up a Google alert. That allows you to get an email whenever anything appears online about you and is published anywhere. So that allows you to know at least what's going on about you. All of you all are familiar with Craigslist scams, where your client's property is listed and it's by a crook, and instead of them paying who they're supposed to pay, they pay this criminal a deposit and they're out of the money. I need you to know that there are ways that you can help your client prevent that. One of the tools is setting up all of your listings in Google Alerts, in a Google Alert. If someone tries to list that on Craigslist or anywhere else, you're going to get an email. That allows you to contact your seller immediately and let them know that there is a problem right up front. Another benefit, another service you get to offer the consumer. As I told you earlier, no such thing as privacy. These websites, this is the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more websites that share personal information about you. People can enter your name into any of these websites, and like I said, there are tons more, and they can find out information about you. Any public record is going to be contained on your county website, but those companies make it easier. Here's Spokeo. When I type in my address, not only does it tell a family tree who lives there, tells their ages, and it also shows a map of the property, and it shows the value of the property, the layout of the house, how many square feet. Way too much information. So you say, how do I get myself off of social media? There's almost no way to do it, but there are some websites that try to help you. Just Delete Me is one. Now, there's a lot of work involved. It lists the different websites and how hard it is to remove your information. So it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work, but you also need to realize that you're never going to completely get rid of all of the information about you. If you go to Techlicious, you can certainly go to how to delete yourself from the internet and find that resource. But again, information is going to be there, and you need to know what is there right up front so that you can protect yourself. Let's say you're too lazy to do this research on all of the different sites and to find out what's out there and do homework on all of your potential clients. Great Agent is a company. It's the only one of its kind, and they're a lead generation company, but they do soft background checks before you meet a client. So all of the leads have been screened, and they've done their homework. They've done your homework for you. At the end, I'm going to give you my email address so that you can request a list of all of these references if you're not able to write them down. Really quickly, I want to talk about office safety measures. You all like technology. Criminals know that. You need to make sure that your valuables are not in your car when you're in your work parking lot. Get them out of sight in the trunk, under the seat, cover them up. In your office, I've walked through so many real estate offices, and I see your laptops, your tablets, your cell phones, your purses on top of your desk. You're saying, I trust my fellow agent. I'm saying, what about the contractors? What about the clients walking through? You need to get valuables out of sight, especially those expensive electronics. Safety tools and products for real estate agents. This is an area where I get so many questions. Everyone wants to know, what do we do? What can we carry? Um, when I see you in September, I am going to have a lot of these resources and tools with me, and I'm going to make them available to you. The number one product that real estate agents surveyed by NAR liked, the number one product, non-lethal product that they carry, was pepper spray. I need you to know the difference between pepper spray, mace, and tear gas. They're not all created equally. You need to know that pepper spray, OC, is what is recommended. You need to check the expiration date of your canister. You need to test it. You need to do so twice a year. So there's so many implications involved in carrying a safety product. But if it's something designed to save your life, you need to do your homework and you need to do your research and make sure you know how to use it properly. And I will get a chance to do that one-on-one with you when I see you. Again, the designation is the Consumer Safety and Security Specialist designation. If you all read the article in your most recent state publication, the North Carolina Association newsletter, I talk about that.
We did have someone mention what apps they use. So it looks like Jane is using SafeTrek and Catherine is using an app called Glimpse, but is not sure how to use it and if it works well.
And that's one thing that I really want people to understand, that if you trust your life with whether it is an application or a safety product, you need to know how to use it right up front. So you can't trust your life with something you don't use. One thing I like about the application is that you can test them. The one, the Alert Lion, I tried that. I was in a presentation and I was able to push the button, and right in front of all of the agents, they were able to hear the operator come on and say, Tracy, are you okay? And I was able to say everything's fine, and she canceled it. What's good to know is that if I would not have been able to respond, or if I was in danger, help would have been there. So for those of you, whether it's Glimpse or the SafeTrek, you need to test it as if you were in a real emergency situation. And then you need to see what's going to happen next, because this is what you're counting on to save your life. You need to know if the contact list that you've selected, if the people are actually going to read their text messages and be able to send help to you. And that's one of the downfalls of some of the apps, that if it just goes to your contact list, and if your contacts aren't tied to their phones, they don't know that you need help until maybe it's too late. That's why I like the live contact, where there's a live voice on the end saying, what do you need? And if you don't answer, they are sending law enforcement officials directly to you. So do your homework and test. That means test your pepper spray. That means test your app, and your app should have a test feature where you can say, I just wanted to make sure it works. It's just a text. This is something you're counting on to save your life. Please don't discount that.
Is Alert Lion a Apple and Android app, or is it just an Android app? Because it looks like someone is looking for it in the App Store and cannot find it.
Alert Lion is an actual device. And what I will do is, if you email me, I'm going to send you, I know I gave a lot of information. I've created a resource sheet that has the links for Alert Lion, the Life 360, the Techlicious, how to delete yourself from the internet, have everything in one neat sheet. So my email address is there on the screen. Email me and I will send you that information. But that's an actual device. It's like a pendant, and it's something you can put on a key ring. You can clip it to a lanyard and it goes with you. So that's good, especially if you don't always have your phone with you, or you don't use a phone. It's something that you keep on your person at all times. But the Life 360, that one will be in the App Store, and that is the one that does not contact law enforcement officials, but it does contact your select list of contacts. So I'm telling you, if that's the one you choose, let your contact list know that when I am showing, I'm counting on you to watch your phone to see if I send you any messages or if I'm going to be in danger. You need to warn people right up front.
Great. And when is the CSSS course being offered?
Well, right now I am working with the education director at the state level of North Carolina to see how to go about getting those 2 CE classes approved for CE, and to see if that is something that the North Carolina Association can help offer. So I'm doing research right now to bring it to your state. But right now we're kind of, it's been offered. I have over 500 agents across the country who's completed it and earned the designation. So do know we're working on it, and I'm hopeful that by the time I get there in September, I'll have some good news to share. But what I will do in September, and I have a class for the new agents and one for the veteran agents. I'm going to give you some of those tools to use and some of the information that you can immediately walk away from our sessions in September with enough information to go out and keep your consumer safe and to give you an edge, to give information that no other real estate agent is giving. So you're going to get some of the concepts still in September during our session, so you need to be there.
Definitely. And what Tracy's referring to is our conference and expo at the Grove Park Inn, our Exchange 17 conference. Tracy's going to be one of our speakers, and you can check out all of her information right now, so her Twitter, Facebook, her website, phone number, and email address. We'll also have these slides available and in follow-up email that we'll be sending later this week. Hey, Tracy, I'm getting some feedback on your microphone, so I'm just going to mute you real quick.
Okay.
Looks like that's all the questions that we have. So I'm going to go back to my screen. And so like Tracy said, she's going to be here in September, and we're also going to have a webinar next month that is going to highlight a sneak peek of some of our speakers. We'll have Lee Brown and Mark Saunders, as well as Tracy, who's going to come back, and they're each going to talk a little bit about what to expect at their speaking session when they're going to be at conference. So make sure you come in and you can ask Tracy questions, you can ask Mark and Lee questions. It's your chance to get a little preview and see maybe if they could talk about something that interests you when you're at conference. So make sure you sign up for that. We'll be sending an email later this week, like I said, with the PowerPoint slides from Tracy, as well as a recording of the webinar today and a registration link to next month's webinar. So with that being said, Tracy, I'm going to unmute you. Thank you again for talking to us today, and I think everyone learned a lot about how important realtor safety is and safety in general, and not just being in person, but also your online presence as well. So I really do appreciate that, and we'll talk to you next month.
Okay, see you then. Thank you all, and be safe.